As marketers, though, I think the number one thing I would actually have somebody focus on first would be a website that converts, because that website's going to be more than just something that converts leads. It's actually going to be validity for your business, and everything else will be pointing to that website: business cards, social media, et cetera, et cetera. That'd be first on my list. Mike, would you agree or disagree?
Oh, 100%. That was the first thing I was going to say. There would be no reason for, I don't want to say no reason, but it would be very hard to start anywhere else without having the different avenues like email, like social media, like content point to something. Welcome to Digital Marketing Shop Talk. I'm Mike Mahaffey. I am the media production specialist for Valorous Circle. And here with me is...
I'm Jeremy Mullins, and I'm the senior marketing director at Valorous Circle. And Mike, you're so much more than just a media specialist. You're like a, this doesn't come off bad, but you're like a know-it-all. You know a lot about a lot. So
I sure try. My goal is to at least have somewhat of an understanding of what's going on around me. I might not be an expert at everything, but I think there's value to understanding at least what's going on around you. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I appreciate that. But we have episode 2 here. As I said, we're going to be dropping these every Friday. And our purpose with these podcasts is just to create a community for home service business owners, even if it's not business owners, home service environment, I guess I should say, the community, to just come on, be able to learn marketing tips and tricks. But also our hope is to invite people, business owners, business leaders, people who are involved in the trades, to come on and share their stories. So we're super excited to get that going and have episode 2 here. But I know Jeremy and I were talking pre-show about something we see a lot in the home service industry, and that's trying to figure out where to start when it comes to digital marketing.
Yeah. A lot of businesses, they get their license, they're ready to go. They think they know the basics, and sometimes they might be putting their energy in the wrong spot.
Exactly. And it can be overwhelming. You and I work in digital marketing every single day, so we know how many different avenues there can be. The internet is continuing to grow. We've seen in 2023 such a huge advancement with AI technology that it's just like there is no slowing down. So I would even make the argument sometimes, like, even us that are working daily in this industry can kind of seem overwhelmed at times with so many things that are going on. So I think it's just important, where as home service business owners, like, where do they begin? I guess I would say.
It's a good question. Mike, I think we should make a list. What do you think?
I think so too. I think it would be great for us to just kind of walk through a lot of the things in the digital world, whether that's a website, whether that's SEO, digital ads, email, content, video. There's so many things. I agree. I think there's value to us being able to create that list that home service business owners can listen to and be able to follow and apply to their business as well. Yeah. So where do we begin? Let's say, do we want to build a scenario? And what I mean by a scenario is, let's say Joe Schmo created an electrical business, and he's been in operation for 2 years now. So he's got it going. He's got some business, but hasn't put any effort. It's basically just been word of mouth thus far, just talking, doing business with family and referrals, and he hasn't started yet. So his business is established, but hasn't really started. Okay. And he's ready to take his business to the next step. We kind of want to go from there. Like, what should he do first? And then we'll build a list of, like, a priority list.
Yeah, I like that a lot. There's a couple of things that we have to talk about that I want to make sure it's not taken to gospel, right? Because just because we say it here doesn't mean, like, if you do it this way, if you don't do it this way, you're in trouble. People do things their own way and succeed all the time. As marketers, though, I think the number one thing I would actually have somebody focus on first would be a website that converts, because that website's going to be more than just something that converts leads. It's actually going to be validity for your business, and everything else will be pointing to that website, business cards, social media, et cetera, et cetera. That'd be first on my list. Mike, would you agree or disagree?
Oh, 100%. That was the first thing I was going to say. There would be no reason for, I don't want to say no reason, but it would be very hard to start anywhere else without having the different avenues like email, like social media, like content point to something. And I always like to use the analogy that our founder always says, and it's like imagining that a website is a beautiful hotel, and then the marketing around it, so video content, social media, emails, and whatnot, are the highways and roads that bring people to that website, and people and the website convert. So it's just like in this avenue, if we don't start with that hotel, then those roads, they're gonna be pointing in all different directions, and people, in this case, potential customers and clients, if you start somewhere else, might not know where to go and would get lost. And odds are you'd lose a lot of potential leads.
I agree. Cool. So number one, website. If we're putting a list of priority, what would you put as number two, Mike?
I would say for number two, you'd start with content creation and SEO, kind of two sides of the spectrum, or two sides of the coin, two sides of one coin. And that would be ongoing content to that website. So it's just, as I said, going back to the analogy, and I feel like I'm going to be using this analogy a lot. Let's say you put all this effort into this building and then just let go. And then you're like, all right, that's awesome. But you don't do ongoing maintenance. You don't tend to it. You don't care for it. Especially as we mentioned at the beginning of this podcast, if we're in an ever-changing technology, digital world. So if you create that website and don't add and continue to add content, then that website is going to become outdated. Your competitors who are adding content to their website are going to outcompete you when it comes to Google and whatnot. So I would start there. Content creation and making sure you have a calendar, a schedule to go off of, that you're continuing to add content on a regular basis.
I would agree. Anytime that you have a hotel, you could tell if you walk into a hotel if it's outdated.
Oh, yeah.
The general public knows if they land on a website that's outdated.
Yeah.
That actually ruins your validity a little bit, in my opinion. Yeah, that's a good point. I think number two, I think every business should make this a priority no matter what you're doing. I'm going to say Google Business Profile. That should be like the number two thing every business does.
Okay.
You know, if you have an office, if you have some place where, you know, people can come make an appointment to stop by and see you, I think Google Business Profile is going to be the number two thing I'd recommend.
No, I agree, because obviously Google is the big elephant in the room. That's what a huge majority of people use when they search for businesses. So if you're not set up on Google, then people aren't going to find your website to begin with. I'm not going to push back on that. I do agree that would probably be a little bit before content creation, because you'd also use, as I said, the blogging and content creation to be posting out onto Google to help you continue to rank. I agree, being able to set up. And
circling back to what Mike just said, that you can actually take your blogs and you can actually post them to your Google Business Profile. And that means that you're actually using a tool that Google likes. So if you use Google Likes, oh my gosh, what are they going to do? They're going to be like, hey, we're going to reward you with rankings. I do agree, taking that content from the website and getting it onto Google Business Profile is going to be important.
Nope, I agree. And at this point now, we're 2-3 steps in. At this point, we have the hub, we have the website that people will go to learn more about your business, and we're starting to create a presence around that website, that hub, that hotel, in the scenario we keep using, that people are being able to start to find your website. But now we kind of are getting into a little more of the weeds of prioritizing things to continue to bring people to that hotel, that website. So Jeremy, what would be kind of your first avenue that you'd go from there? You have your website, your Google Business Profile set up. Let's say you started posting content directly on your website. So right now you have content going directly on your website, and say you're co-posting that onto your Google Business Profile. Where do you go from there to continue to bring people to that website?
I'm going to go broad here, because if I don't go broad here, I think you and I can get into a heated argument about which one would be priority. So
Yeah. Okay.
I'm going to say non-video social media. Not that you can't post video there, but I think it's easier for people to post images or just post on Facebook, on LinkedIn. I think it is important. LinkedIn's always overlooked when it comes to social media for business. I think it's vital to survive in today's day and age. And then images on Instagram, I think, are going to be, if you have something to focus on, I'd put that as number 3. Now, the reason why I say that is because it takes a lot of energy, sometimes not, for people to actually get on camera and start making that move forward. So instead of saying video, which, and honestly, they're like this on the list to me, I think if we tell people to start posting on Facebook and LinkedIn, they're going to be more likely to do it than recording a video and posting on YouTube. Okay. Going broad.
No, I was gonna say I get what you did there, and I think the thing that came to my mind that I would do next, it would coincide with what you're saying, and it would be more of the strategy in which you're posting. And the first thing that popped in my mind would be starting to build an email list, just because, they go hand in hand. That's why I think this might be 3 or 4 A and B kind of things. Like what you're saying is creating the content, and then mine's kind of the strategy behind that content. Just because, as we said, the digital media is ever changing. And so Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, all these are continuing to always change, update their algorithms, and you have to adjust on the fly. But for years, ever since the internet has been in existence, really, the thing that's remained the most consistent, I would argue, is email and email lists and in email campaigns. And so you need a starting point. If you don't have anybody to send emails or ongoing marketing campaigns to, then you're missing one of the most constant activities. So as I said, you could collaborate and connect what Jeremy said with social media content, and using social media, using your presence with what you're posting to start collecting people's emails. So you might not be doing business with these people right away, but if you can get their emails, then you can continue to send out consistent emails. So when they do have an electrical problem, when they do have a plumbing issue, they're familiar with you through the emails that you've been sending, and they'll go to you to do business. So as I say, unless you see something different, I feel like kind of what we're saying could be combined. As you said, very broad, and I think I probably punched a hole in it and went more specific in what you said.
What you're doing is I'd probably put number 4 on the list. So we've talked about website, we've talked about content or Google Business Profile, social media. Yep. It's number 4 on the list, but it's also the most valuable on the list. And I think a lot of home service businesses miss that opportunity when they open their doors. So if the realtor's been in business, if the plumber's been, edit that please. If the plumber's been in business for 2 years, they probably have some sort of client communication, but the email list for any business is where the money's at, period, in my opinion. Not only is it for marketing, it's also used for targeting, right? So as we move down the list and we get to paid advertisements, you can actually advertise to an email list specifically. So if they've done business with you in the past, they like you, love you, and trust you, you send out an email, you advertise around them, your return customers are probably going to return a lot more and be able to invest in your business more.
And I was going to say, I'm having to stop myself and help myself. I guarantee you and I will do a whole podcast episode on email marketing and email strategy. So I'm trying to hold myself from going too much into the strategy, just because we could derail the whole conversation on that. So if you're listening, stay tuned. We'll do a whole episode on email marketing and so on.
But and at the same time, if you listen to this podcast, if you're not collecting emails, start today.
Yep.
Start with your last customer. Start today.
Yep. Exactly. And it's a great way to create loyalty as well. I think going what you were saying is, when you do business with someone once, you collect their emails, then they're more likely to use you again because they're seeing you consistently. Emails, I think people can come to a snap judgment and say that it's outdated. I think the more you look into it, that's crazy talk. That's crazy talk.
I check my email every day. Do you, Mike?
Oh, yeah. Oh,
every day.
Yep.
So not outdated yet.
No. Nope, not at all. I think the one thing that popped into my mind, and I want to hear what you have to say, is this one might jump some of the stuff you said, or we might have a little debate here, and I'm excited to hear what you have to say. But where would you have started paid advertising, like online or pay-per-click at all before anything that we started? Where would you put that? Or would that be like one of the next steps?
I don't know if you can run ads without a website.
So
I'm gonna be
that's fair.
Yeah, because even to apply for some of the ads, like they need a website to point people to or to validate your business. I think we're on the right path. I think it's deciding where to put that money though, which ad platform. I'm gonna say we count to 3, and then I know we're gonna have different answers, or maybe the same. We'll know. But ready? Where would you put your money?
Wait, say that again.
So we're starting Google. We're starting ads, right?
Okay.
We're starting ads. Which platform are we going to be doing first? Because I think that matters.
Okay.
So I'm gonna say mine specifically, and then you can say yours specifically. Okay, ready? 1
At the same time?
Yep, at the same time.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. Google.
Facebook.
Google.
Why?
Google local service ads. I'd put, and that's something that any business can do. All you need to be insured. That's where I'd put my money first before Facebook.
So are you talking about like display ads? So when
no,
okay.
Google local service ads. Google guaranteed.
Gotcha. So that's, just to clarify, that's the ones that, like, when you type in electricians near me, those are the first ones where they have the little check marks at the top of Google, right?
Yep, 100%. That's Google's put that as a platform for businesses that are insured, that have good reviews. You need to have so many good reviews in order to be on that as well. It is a bidding structure, so your competition can definitely outbid you, but businesses need to be validated. And when you have a green checkbox, in my opinion, you're validated. Now, I'm not a know-it-all. Why would you do Facebook?
I think more or less just because you can target. If you can correct me if I'm wrong, because you know a little bit more about ads than me, but isn't the targeting a little bit better on Facebook? That you can, as I said, so if I'm a plumber, I can target and create an audience on Facebook that goes after, let's say, homeowners on average, probably 30 to 60, maybe even more, and be able to, and if you're in a specific city, so let's say I'm focused in Cincinnati, Ohio, I can target the area. Isn't there a lot more targeting when it comes to Facebook, or is it?
Give or take, Google's based on search terms, right?
Yeah.
We could get into demographics if we wanted to, but what you're saying is not wrong.
Yep.
It's a type of ad that I guess I was trying to drill on. What type of ad would you actually be putting out on Facebook?
What type?
Yeah, what's the hook? You know what I mean? Come do business with me.
Yeah. Is this a question?
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, buddy. Yeah, 100%. It's a question for you. What type of ad would you be doing on Facebook?
So it would be like a display, so they'd see an image. And I guess I go twofold. I would like either this is where I would try to collect email lists as well. So if I had, in this instance, like a lead magnet or something, a free offer. So in this instance, I'm a plumber, and I offer like free inspections or free checkups just to try to collect people. I do that. That would be my hook. Do you want a free inspection? Do you want a free something that doesn't cost me a ton of time or a ton of resources off of that as well? So that'd be my hook when doing like a Facebook ad. Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, creating a nice checklist of how to winterize your home, considering plumbing. Download this free, to start collecting those email addresses. 100%. I agree with the concept. I think it depends on the business which one they'd prioritize first, because Google, local service ads now they call you, they need you now. Facebook don't necessarily need you now, but they could use you in the future. So I'm not sure which one we'd prioritize on the list first. I think it depends on the business.
No, that's fair. I guess my question is, going back to the list, would you put, once you set up your Google business profile, do you need a Google business profile to set up Google Guarantee?
Yeah, it helps. Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought. So would you put, obviously you're talking a lot of importance here, would you do that immediately after your Google business profile?
Not necessarily. All depends on the business's needs.
Okay.
I think that businesses who do that actually get a lot of traction really quick, to be honest with you. No.
that makes sense. And I was going to say, real estate, obviously what Jeremy said at the beginning before we started this is we can generalize a priority list, but as he said, this isn't set in stone. This is not a follow this and this is what you need to do. You need to take what we say and critically think about, okay, how would I prioritize this and how would it affect my business, and go from there.
Yep. 100%.
We're just talking out of our own experience, what we've seen works best with majority of businesses that we're working with.
Okay. So let's go down the list that we have so far, just so we're on the same page.
Yep.
Website for validity, number one, has to happen, right?
Yep.
Okay. Number two, we talked about Google Business Profile,
Google
correct?
Profile. Yep.
Okay. Number three, it was the social media, all the big ones.
I was going to say, can we combine, just leave that as like content creation? So consistent content on your social media posting and consistent content posting on your website.
Oh, well, sorry, this might be edited. One second. Hello.
Good.
Okay. Sorry.
I'm just jotting that down.
I need like a recording light that I can flick on, so I feel like it doesn't look like.
No worries. Caro, cut that out. You know what to do.
Yes, please. Do you want to start over? Let's actually start over from the list exactly, if that's okay. 22 minutes, 23 minutes.
Yep.
So we'll start over. Okay, so what do we have on the list so far? We have website. That's got to be number one, validity.
Number two was Google Business Profile setup, just establishing yourself on Google.
Okay. Number three, I think we agreed, is the social media presence, with the Facebook, Instagram, then kind of those three.
Yeah. Would you just make this one content creation and include blogs on your website? You can cross
that's
blogs.
Right.
Yeah. Would you, because you could
That's
also use, just kind of content creation.
Content creation. Yeah, content creation is priority over social media.
I was going to say you can combine them, because content creation, you're creating content for your website and for your social medias.
Yeah.
So, and then from there, you said, was this where you put Google guaranteed? So
that's where I would put my money first. Yes. So Google listing, local service ads, LSAs is what we call them.
Yeah.
And then,
I was going to say, go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, for the sake of us making a list, obviously, just like I said, email marketing. Would we put that before Google guaranteed?
Yes, I would. That was number four. Now I'm going back in my head. Number four, email marketing.
Paid. Okay. So,
then LSA.
So website, Google Business Profile, content creation, email marketing, collecting email list.
Paid ads.
I was going to say, I know we focus on a strategy that you would prioritize Google guaranteed, but we'll leave that kind of broad as just paid in the general, because I know that's another episode just talking about paid strategy and what we'd prioritize, kind of like what we were getting into it a little bit, but we'll just leave that one as paid. So after paid, what's next? What should a business do?
This is when I think you should pull out your phone and start doing video.
Yep. I was going to say, talked a little bit about it, I think, last podcast. And if you've seen anything that we're posting on social media, the biggest thing is just clicking record. As we're seeing right now, this is where, once again, I'm a little biased because I'm in media on our team, but this is where we're seeing right now trends are huge when it comes to the short form video, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook Reels, Instagram Reels. They're just so popular that just by posting a video, one of those short form videos, there's a good chance that the minimum I've seen really consistently is like 200 views. And so just by creating those videos consistently, you'll be able to get more and more. And that's 200 plus eyes that are seeing that and building awareness around your brand. Out of anything, like, this is a huge thing that I would put like a massive star next to that you need to be doing. But I do, in the sake of this list, I do understand why some of that other stuff would be a priority. Because obviously, if you don't have a website, if you don't have anything,
social media in general,
social media, then you can't be doing it. So it makes sense that it would fall here.
Yep. The video is so important on how people connect with us, right? The evolution of how phones work, and I'm gonna say like FaceTime or Google Hangouts, where you have a vertical format like what I'm on. People actually feel really comfortable watching videos like that because they almost feel like they're watching a friend. Video is important.
Yeah, and video, it puts a face. Puts a face to your business. Creates that familiarity. Yeah, it helps build trust. Like the more they see you, the more potential clients see you on your social media or through their feeds, the more likely they're going to trust you.
Yep, 100%.
Video is important. Unless you have something big, I'm thinking where we could go next in the list after this. Because I feel like right now at this point, we've laid a lot of cards on the table of a list of priority digital marketing tips and tricks that a business should follow. And I think unless you have something that you're thinking would be a priority over this, I would say it's worth noting at this point to take a second and review and evaluate everything on how that's working. Basically, as I said, just from the top, how is your content working? Is it connecting with your audience? Is your content being helpful? Are people engaging with your content? How's your email list? Are you being able to create and build upon your email list? Or are you struggling? Is it like pulling teeth to get those emails? Maybe you need to adjust your strategy there. Your paid advertisement, are you getting many clicks? Are you getting many conversions off that? If not, take a step back, reevaluate that strategy. So I think it's worth and it's important to put that on our list. Take a time, evaluate, see how things are going.
Yeah, I don't think you're wrong. I think that is going to go, as soon as you start spending a penny on advertisement, you have to be evaluating. I think it's really good to put on the list. Let's mark that down. Let's put evaluate, because after that, I think we need to look at online reputation management, but that's going to take evaluation anyway.
I was just about to say, I feel like those would be going hand in hand. You're evaluating what you're doing and you're adjusting to help build your reputation. So I feel like those might go hand in hand with each other.
Yeah, I'd concur
with your message.
Yeah, so after talk about evaluation, let's actually have a conversation about online management and just how easy it is. For the most part, as long as you don't have any bad press in your business, it is as easy as getting positive reviews on Google Business Profiles, on Facebook, and then interacting with those reviews on a consistent basis as well. Somebody gives you a 5-star review. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just saying, no, you took that right out of my mouth. I was going to say, it's one thing, it's important to get those 5-star reviews, but it's also important to reply and interact with those reviews. And I would borderline say even more important to reply to the negative ones as well. But unfortunately, we live in a broken world, and no matter how absolutely perfect you think your business is, people have off days and they are going to leave negative reviews. And so it is so important to reply to them in a very respectful way. It is not a good idea to start negotiating in a public forum so other potential customers can see you arguing with someone online. You reply to them in a very respectful way. It'll give them an avenue if they would like to have a further conversation to contact you outside of a public domain.
One response is all you need. And if they respond to your response, just let it fly. Hopefully they contact you and you get that review fixed. Marketing strategy. There's restaurants out there are really good at this. Somebody leaves them a bad review on Yelp or something along those lines, and then like they take that bad review and be like, come sit at the bar that's way too small for a 5'8" woman or something like that. They actually take those reviews and make it part of a marketing campaign that like gets people's attention. They're funny and I don't know, they crack me up. So that takes bravery.
Yeah, no, I agree. Kind of reputation management, showing your character, not just being a blank sheet. I think that's important too. Kind of like what we were talking about when it comes to content creation. You need to be able to show your character. If you're a business owner, this is your business. This is your brand. Show who you are. Don't be afraid to make it everything black and white, so professional. Do it, and once again, respectful way, but be able to show your character because more people will be able to connect with that as well. I was going to say, I would further we talked about Google reviews, but also when it comes to reputation management online, interacting with people that are commenting on your posts. Once again, the same thing as I said, when people say, oh, nice video, or I'm interested, just making sure you're interacting with them in your comments on your social media platforms as well.
Going through this list is fun because I know that what we do for our clients, things run on autopilot, which is going to bring up another one, but we actually forgot to talk about getting on other directories, right? Once you have your Google Business Profile corrected and completed, it is a good idea to partner with a program that would actually display it everywhere online.
Yeah.
We use tools for that, save a ton of money in our consumers' end because we know where to go to. But making sure all the online directories, Yelp, yellowpages.com, so that have the same information, the NAP, name, address, phone number, is going to be vital to making sure you show up on search engines. So I think we need to put that on, we need to chalk that up to the Google Business Profile creation and then online directories. So it'd be like, what was it, number?
Subtask?
Yeah, subtask 0.5. So
yeah. 2B.
2B, 2.5.
Say 2. I was gonna say 2 can be Google Business Profile and online directories.
Yeah. Okay.
That's a good point, though.
The bottom of the list is so far for me, after we do evaluations, after we do online reputation management, as a business owner, you need to be systematizing as much as possible. So we have a good framework so far that's going to be systematizing and scheduling when things happen on all of those outlets, in my opinion.
Yeah. I was going to say, maybe elaborate more. I have an idea of what you mean by systematize. Man, I'm struggling. Maybe elaborate a little bit more.
Okay. Systematize. Am I posting a blog every week? If I post a blog every week, is it done on Monday? Am I updating my advertisements? If I update my advertisements, is it done on Tuesday? If I'm going through online reputation management, am I checking it every Wednesday? If you can systematize an hour a day to focus on these things, you'll be better off than the businesses who completely forget them and just say, I have a website, it's working for me. I have 1-star reviews, that's okay. So if you systematize how you do these things, put them in the calendar, assign maybe staff to do them, your business has the ability to start scaling then, in my opinion.
Yep. I was going to say, in our scenario, this is a business owner that might be like just starting off. He's been in business for 2 years and he might not have a staff. He or she might not have a staff yet. So this would be a good time to start maybe bring on delegating as you're growing and do these tasks. Start delegating, either hiring full-time employees, hiring contractors, hiring local agencies to do this as well. This would be a great time to make sure, once again, to add consistency, because if you don't have that system in place, everything that we're talking about right now is not one and done. It's not a checklist for you to check off and it's done forever. Everything that we've talked about today needs to be ongoing. There is management with everything that we've said so far. And so obviously we'd be crazy to say that one person can do everything that we're talking about. But one person's business owner can at least start it and get to this system step to be able to start delegating and figure out the best way that works for their business to continue to do this consistently.
Yeah, I think so for sure. Next on the list, so let's pretend that the business is growing. What's next on your list, Mike?
So next, okay, we systemize, we're growing, we're kicking butt. This might jump because we're growing. At this point, the systematize step, we're making sure this is ongoing. We're adding people to our team to manage this. If I am the business owner at this point, I'd maybe start reaching out for partnerships, AKA, let's just try to say, once again, in this instance, I think we were an electrician to start. At this point,
Plumber.
Were we a plumber?
Yeah, we're a plumber.
We're a plumber. And so regardless, let's say at this point, you're starting to have a team under you that's doing all this nitty gritty when it comes to digital marketing. And so at this point, you can have the freedom to start continuing to build relationships with other business owners and create those partnerships with like builders, contractors. So like a builder's coming up, you're creating those partnerships with them. So when they're building houses or they're building a subdivision or they're building office buildings, they'll come to you to do those specific plumbing services. Your business has grown. You're the face of this business, and it's now time to start putting your face out there and connecting and networking with those people.
I agree completely.
Is there anything that you'd add or do differently than what I said?
No, it'd be next on my list for sure. Assuming that money's coming in from all these other efforts, I think the next logical step for local businesses is to start purchasing media locally. Radio stations, Spotify in your zip code, running YouTube ads in your zip code, purchasing commercials on TV, stuff like that. That's assuming you have the money and the capacity to start doing those.
I was gonna say, I like how you put it here, because it would be ignorant for us to say that those things, these avenues don't add any value. But I think it's, as we said, we're making a list. And so everything we've said, we put a priority. But at this point, you're booming, you're growing. And the more media, the more things you can put your brand on, put your voice on. Jeremy said, billboards, radios, podcasts, Spotify, the more avenues that people will be able to hear your business and connect with you to do business with you. So I do agree. It is valuable. We put it at this point just because we put everything before it, but it's still, there is still value when it comes to those types of things.
And then after that, I'm probably going to go back to the big E again, right? Evaluate.
Yep.
Start over.
I say at this point, yeah. I feel like at this point, you're here, you have a business. It's hopefully booming at this point. If not, then you really need to reevaluate things. And at this point, there's just a lot of different directions you can go as a business owner. But like, once again, just making sure at this point, everything is clicking, everything is moving smoothly, and you have that consistency with everything that we've said in this checklist so far.
Yep, I agree.
Awesome.
Now, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, were you going to ask something?
Not ask something. There's a bravery in business, in my opinion, that if you can be brave and creative along the processes that we're putting together, the more you'll end up standing out. It gets fun to get we talked about this before on our social media, get a business jingle, right? If you have a business jingle, that can go everywhere. It can be on your website. It can be on social media. That is being creative and putting that foot forward along the way. So that's all.
No, I was going to say, I like that. When you have these things in place and you have systems and there's consistency, that makes you as a business owner be able to start, you have that wiggle room. You have that wiggle room to start being a little more creative. You are at where you are at because you're an entrepreneur, because you have great thoughts. And now that things are cooking, you have that freedom to be unique, think outside of the box, maybe add additional services to your business. And as I mentioned a little bit ago, there's so many different avenues that you can go at this point, because at this point you're hopefully seeing business success. The one thing I do want to highlight, we have said a lot today, and a lot of it I'm sure is a fire hose of information, and a lot of it this might be the first time you've ever heard what Google Guaranteed is, or what some of the things that we've talked about before. Shameless plug, if you type in the dial at the bottom here, valorousscircle.com/linktree, we have free resources that is a checklist for you to be able to do it. The checklists have everything or close to everything that we've talked about today on it, and you can literally download it for free, no cost at all. Not trying to sell anything whatsoever. We just want to provide a free resource for you to be able to follow this checklist and continue to build. As I said, a lot of this is building on top of another, and you can follow these checklists to help your business grow.
Yeah. I'm going to go back I'm going to go back for a purpose here. Strategic partnerships, right? You talk about the importance of having strategic partnerships. I'm going to state this. We would actually like to be your strategic partner. Not that we need to be your marketing company, but we would love to have you on the podcast to talk about what you're doing in your business, right? To talk how you're actually making strides in growth. Might not be through advertisements, maybe it's through systems or something like that. But we'd love to have that conversation with you. So if you want to be on, it's absolutely free 90 free, as one of my friends says all the time, and we don't bite, I promise.
Yeah. Jeremy and I will get tired and sick of each other if it's just him and I talking all the time. We're excited. The reason why we're doing this, as I said, to create a community that we can invite people on and have fun discussions about businesses, about what they're doing well, what they might need help in, and so on. We're excited. This is going to be good.
We are. So once again, hit us up at valorousscircle.com/linktree. Love to have a conversation with you.
Awesome. I was going to say, Jeremy, do you have any other final thoughts as we wrap up our digital marketing checklist that we've kind of wrapped through today?
No, but I love being called out if we forget something. So if you listen to this, let us know where we messed up. I'd love to have that conversation as well.
Yeah. So we're not perfect. I guarantee you we probably forgot something that is as important or as equally as important as a lot of the things we said today. So yeah, let us know in the comments. What did we forget? I was going to say, also, if you watch this, Where are you going to start? Maybe you already started a lot of these things. Where are you at currently? Maybe you're at the beginning. Maybe you haven't done any of this. Maybe you've done some of this. Let us know where you're at. We'd love to have a discussion in the comments about that.
Love it. Mike, that's all I got today, man.
Perfect. Awesome. As I said, we'll wrap it up today. We're going to be releasing these every Friday, so make sure you stay tuned for our next episode coming out next Friday. And we hope everybody has a great day.